The number one thing that I hate about this sauna is that it's not delivered as advertised. For me, it's a pro just because of my size. I love the fact that it comes with the little shelf and, I hang my shirts on it and I can put my extra stuff. When the sauna is powered off on the control panel, but still plugged into the wall, as soon as you walk into the building, your phone automatically repairs with it without the sauna being turned on. It routes all your call notifications, text message alerts, and everything else through these speakers. I've had an older Health Mate in the past, but this is a new and improved version. They changed the finish, changed the colors, changed the wood type. It's no longer cedar. It's half eucalyptus and half something else. Anyway, I love the control panel. It's very easy to use. It's sleek. They've always had a good one. I prefer it. I also like the build quality. The way that they put the sauna together, the assembly is really good. There's a couple things... you could also say that's on my cons list because I'm not a huge fan of these buckles. Sometimes they can get bent in shipping and you have to take, some pliers and do this. But as a pro, the way that they've designed the walls to go together is easy for people, right? It's not as easy as the simplest sauna to put together, but it's by no means difficult. So I like this for folks. I love the fact that it comes with the little shelf and, I hang my shirts on it and I can put my extra stuff. I like the fit and the finish. The build quality is good. You can see that it's trimmed out, but it's not excessive. It doesn't have crown on it or anything like that. But it is good. Other things that I like are the interior build quality. The wood is nice. Now, this is new to me. The older Health Mates and the other Health Mate that I've had were made out of cedar. And this, I'm also a little bit colorblind, so take color and all that stuff with a grain of salt. But this has a slightly grayed out, look to me. And then the outside is super brown compared to before. The outside was kind of like a tan and the inside was kind of like a reddish cedar. Other things that I like about it are the bench. It has a comfy bench. This is more of a curved ergonomic bench that we were talking about in some other videos. It depends on the day, but with shoes on, if you notice the back of my legs right here don't touch. So for some people, that's a con. For me, it's a pro just because of my size. But it's very subtle, right? It's not going to make or break whether it was flat or not. But I like the attention to detail because they wrapped the edge and made it super smooth. So it doesn't dig into your leg. I really prefer companies that go the extra mile and do stuff like that. The other thing that I like is the heater layout. Some of these ceramic sauna companies don't put heaters in the front. And they also don't have the side view windows. I really, really like the side view windows because you can, when you're in here, you can see, you have a vantage point outside. Now, some people would say that that's detrimental and they would prefer the windows on the front like most saunas because it depends on you and your situation. But if you're going to install the sauna up against another wall, the window's kind of pointless for you because you're just looking at the wall. And, I get the argument. It would look better if the window wasn't there because depending on the finish and all that stuff, you're just kind of staring at a wall. But if you have it in an install location where it's open on both sides, it's kind of cool to have that extra vantage point, lets the natural light in, yada, yada, yada. But overall, the sauna also works well for one of these. I really wish that it had heaters on the sides, but because of the fact that it doesn't and the preheat time and the performance of it, it still works well for what it is. I really wish that it had heaters on the sides. It doesn't quite get as hot as I was expecting it to, but I still get a really good sweat, right? So you can't always go... A lot of that too is where they place the individual probe for the thermostat. Some people place them in the ceiling that where it's exposed, and obviously that shows much different on the screen. This one is concealed inside the roof. So though it doesn't show that it gets as hot, on the screen, I check the temperature with an air thermometer myself in here too. It doesn't get super hot, but I still get a really good sweat.
What are the things you don't like about this guy?
Well, I'm not sold on the color of the wood, right? I like it when you're in this, but when you compare it to another one like that one, the aesthetics of it, I prefer something else. The number one thing that I hate about this sauna is that it's not delivered as advertised. They say that it's low EMF. I don't know if it specifically says on the website that it's low ELF, but it's absolutely not. So the sauna does not test the way that they sell it. So when I check it on EMF meter, it is nowhere near as low as they say that it is. The electric fields are unmitigated. The thing that drives me nuts about that is that this has a metal heat shield in front of the heater. So if you took the ground and grounded the heaters, like this is a 2-minute fix that they could implement on the assembly line, and it would reduce all electric fields to probably below detectable levels in the seated body position. And so obviously I don't like that, because it's something that they could easily change in the redesign, or, you know, change in pre-production design. And it would remedy that, make it better for people, better for them, and then it would test better also. So that's, you know, number one gripe, is that it doesn't test like it's advertised. And so when I put my stamp of approval on something, we're always worried that the company's not delivering in a fashion that is in alignment with that. And, you know, obviously, if I'm a user of the product too, if I have this in my house, I want that to back out. I want everything to check out also. So I don't have to second guess anything. Don't have to worry about the products that myself or my family are using, or, you know, I talk about it all the time. You get the idea. I wouldn't have any hesitation about somebody buying a sauna from Health Mate. As far as customer service is concerned, not at all. They're way, way better than the other brand. That's a problem that's unique to them. Other thing I don't like is I really wish there was heaters on the sides. I like ceramic heaters in some configurations, but I also like carbon. It would be awesome if they put 2 carbon, you know, heaters right here. I think that it would just fill the space and you'd be wrapped in infrared. Main reason for that is because there's no floor heater in this sauna. There is a calf heater, but there's no floor heater. So if you really want to saturate the body, like some of the other saunas that we have access to, I think it would be a good addition to have either ceramic or carbon heaters, you know, on the sides, so that you're more wrapped, or integrate, you know, a floor heater. But if I had my choice, I would still ditch the floor heater, if you can only pick one, and do the sides. And so I guess that would be something that I don't like. It's just basically heater layout, right? I call it heater layout, and it's just placement. The one thing that they did right, though, was add them to the front, because if you didn't have these in the front, this sauna would perform terribly. Because then what you get is, when you have ceramic heaters in a sauna, the surface temperature of the actual grate is pretty high. So you'd have a sauna that feels cold in the front and super hot in the back. And then you'd find yourself, you know, spinning and stuff like that to try to get, you know, coverage on the front. And so they did do that. It's a little lacking because of the lack of a heater in the feet and on the sides. I would prefer to sync that up a little bit better. Last thing that I don't like is the Bluetooth. So unless I'm mistaken, and there's some secret functionality where you hold multiple buttons down or something like that within the control panel to access the functionality, it has Bluetooth built into it, but it is non-selectable, meaning when the sauna is powered off on the control panel, but still plugged into the wall, as soon as you walk into the building, if your phone was paired with it prior, your phone automatically repairs with it without the sauna being turned on, and it routes all your call notifications, text message alerts, and everything else through these speakers. And unless you plug this and unplug the sauna from the wall, you cannot get rid of that. So I don't like that, because, you know, just testing it out here in the office, I was getting calls or texts and I wasn't getting the alerts, and people were like, "Hey, why are you not calling me back?" And it was this. And so if this was in my house all the time, I would have to unplug the sauna from the wall, unless I'm making some kind of mistake and there's like some top secret functionality that, you know, I don't know about. But as far as I'm aware, there's no way to change that. And so I just wouldn't pair it with any, you know, device again, because I don't like that. When the control panel is off, as long as you're not using a remote reservation mode or an app controller or something like that, there's no reason for the circuit board on the Bluetooth to be powered on. And so that would be, you know, a thing that I don't like. Same thing on the connectivity. I don't like that the main light is built into the control panel, but then in order to turn off, the outside lights are built into this switch here. I would prefer not to have switches all over the place, and either have the lights be on this switch altogether, or right, like, you know what I mean? Same thing with down here. If you want to turn the calf heater off and on, it's a separate switch here. So in my mind, not only do you have a remote control, you know, to change the color or the brightness of the lights, you turn them on either from the remote or from the control panel, but you turn the outside lights on from that switch. And then if you want the calf heater off or on, it's from this switch. I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker if you really like the sauna, but when you use something else where it's either all integrated into one area, I would definitely prefer that.